escaping everything. I need some advice on how to fix my marriage. I have been married to literally the world's most amazing man for a year and a half. He's sweet, caring, funny, loving, and charming. I am lucky to have him. For now, a few months ago, a male friend of mine and I had a deep conversation on a work trip and we kind of felt some feelings. Nothing happened, but we started communicating via email and text about some pretty deep stuff. Recently, I sent him some provocative pictures of myself via text. Today, my husband found those texts. He is currently locked in the bedroom and not speaking to me, telling me that he isn't sure this relationship is going to work. I don't know why I sent them, nor do I understand why I am feeling attracted to another man. My husband provides me with everything I need emotionally. I am a horrible, hateful jerk and I'm so confused as to why I would put myself in this position. I'm assuming this is infidelity, even though nothing physical has happened. I don't know where to go from here. This is one of those deal-breaker situations for him. I spent a few hours begging him to come talk and now I'm trying to respect his feelings and leave him alone. I'm just not sure if this relationship is salvageable, but I'd like some solid advice on how to make these next few days count to gain forgiveness. I'm afraid he's going to divorce me. He already said he'd never look at me the same and he can't trust me. Obviously, I don't blame him. I know he is going to be mad for a long time. I just want to know how to approach him going forward. I'm a big communicator, and over the course of our 3.5-year relationship, he's been much better at communicating. Now he's just shut down. I obviously want to give him his space, but this is a critical time and I don't want to lose the opportunity to try and work on things. I am a relatively stable person, but when he said he wasn't sure if he could stay with me, I lost it. As much as this is hard to believe, my marriage means the world to me, and I am having a hard time understanding why I behaved in such a horrible manner. I just don't know what to say over the next few days. As for work, we don't work together, per se. We have similar jobs but don't work for the same company. It'll be very easy to avoid him going forward, so that I'm not worried about. All I want is my husband back. How do you cope when you know it's all your fault? My husband and I have had trouble getting pregnant and he and his wife went through a similar situation. It's caused a lot of stress on my life and it was nice to talk to an unbiased third party. At the time, I know it was inappropriate to discuss this with someone of the opposite gender that I wasn't close to, but it just happened. I feel horrible and the reason I am posting is because I am not sure how to handle my husband's feelings. He is so genuine and nice and I want to make the few words I do say count. He's very close to his family. It surprised me that he didn't turn to his sisters tonight by calling them. I know I made a huge mistake, one that I will regret forever. I am aware of what needs to be done. And I don't speak all that often anyway, and my husband can access my information anytime he chooses. I have no issue with that and I told him that already. I just want to know how to approach him when he leaves, when he comes home, at night when we're at the house, etc. What should I say to make him understand how sorry I am? Would anyone suggest counseling, either alone or together? It was over the course of a few months. We had the discussion one evening at a dinner where we were placed at the same table. Work-related. We had been acquaintances before and the discussion came up over a few drinks at dinner. We've kept in contact over the past few months and the conversations have obviously been a little more involved than just the infertility thing. That was just what sparked the communication. I'm not at all being defensive, as I know I am at fault. I am just trying to explain. I have definitely owned it, most importantly in front of him. I didn't fight, I didn't deny, I didn't yell when he yelled at me. I will absolutely do whatever I can to make him feel loved, desired, etc. And I made an appointment with an LMHC online for this week. We just rarely fight, so his anger for something so devious and hurtful is something I don't know how to handle correctly. I hate myself and my actions right now, not just because I got caught. I have hated the few times I did this, but I know it's not about me and my feelings now. I need to be there for him. He did tell me he was going to come home after work tomorrow, although he has moved a lot of his stuff into the guest room for now. We've never spent a night in separate rooms. I hate myself. I just don't know what to do. I am not sure if something was lacking. I guess that is why I am going to see a counselor. I'm just hoping he will eventually agree to join me or at least go on his own so we can try and work through this. Liam and I have been talking for a few months, maybe 3 at most, and it was not a daily, regular thing. It was on and off, not that that makes a difference. I have not contacted the other man. It's done, no more contact, and I can very easily avoid him at work stuff, as we literally see each other 3 times a year and I can busy myself with my other work colleagues. An update: he just left the house and didn't speak a word to me. I went outside and sat in his car for about 10 minutes. I think he's madder this morning than he was last night. He told me he honestly can't tell me if we're going to make it, and he said it in a very angry tone. He's still wearing his wedding ring, so I'm hoping that is a good time. He moved all of his stuff to the guest room and told me he can't hang out with me. I so desperately want to make this better. I can't lose him. He's a very, very sensitive person and I know this cut him to the core. He told me he doesn't believe a word I say and he can't trust me, which I understand right now. I just wish I knew how to make this better. I'm a wreck, and I know I deserve to be. This was never intended to be anything more than what it was. I had no plans to see him or make plans to see him. I know that's also hard for all of you to believe based on your experiences, but it was never even discussed. I just need help before I have a nervous breakdown. Obviously, it was a physical attraction that caused me to do these things. And I use the word provocative not to sanitize the situation, just to get across my point without saying a picture of my tits. It's far from depersonalizing. It's the most personal type of hurt you can cause someone you love. Again, I am not trying to be defensive. I understand most of the posters on here are on the opposite side of the coin, as in they have been the victims of cheating and devious acts, so I can understand the anger, but I am willing to own it, do whatever it takes. My whole point in posting is to get some advice on what has worked for posters in the past as far as how to get started working on a reconciliation and what the guilty party, me, can do that won't minimize his hurt or anger while at the same time trying to help heal it. I don't think my husband has overreacted. He has every right to yell, scream, move to another room, threaten to leave, etc. I'm just not going to go down without a fight, and I wanted to get some concrete advice on how to do it in a manner that was beneficial and not counterproductive. I don't think therapy is going to cure me or help me come up with excuses. I think what I am trying to figure out is why I am making choices that an unhappy woman would make when I am a happy woman. Does that make sense? I'm owning up to the fact that I enjoyed the attention. That much is simple decision making. What I'm really trying to pinpoint is what is going on in my head. Why am I hurting this great person? In dealing with him at home, I am owning up to it, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to fix it. Personally, I just feel like I need to talk it out with someone, and if nothing else, maybe I can find out some good ways to broach it that makes it easier for us to discuss without angering him again so we can actually talk. I knew nothing good could have come out of sending those pictures, and as stated before, it happened 3 times over a several-month period. I don't feel like I was emotionally attached to this person, but maybe I was more than I thought. Yes, we had some insightful conversations and I enjoyed those. And yes, he is attractive and assertive and motivated. But I was never comparing him to my husband. Maybe I was subconsciously. I don't think I could have ever gone through with something physical, although I have been reading the Never Say Never posts. And I can't say never. I think I was comfortable sending these pictures because he lives several hundred miles away and I knew it would be impossible to be anything more than buddies. It just got way out of my control, and I know I made the poorest of choices, and now I might pay the ultimate price. My man didn't say a whole lot when I got in the car. He just wanted to leave. He told me that looking at me made him sick to his stomach, and he wasn't sure if he'd ever look at me the same again. I asked him if he was willing to try and work it out, and he said he couldn't answer that right now. Then I asked if he was coming home tonight, and he said he was but would not be in the same room as me. I asked when we could talk, and he said when I could answer his questions, which I have been more than willing to do. But the answers don't seem satisfactory for him right now. He is disgusted with me, as he well should be. I have been in really bad relationships in the past, physical affairs, physical violence, alcoholism, to name a few. My husband is none of these things. He's the first honest, caring man that I've been with in my life, and I go and screw it up like this. I know I don't deserve him. From a practical point of view, I am not going to get much out of leaving. I would be away from my daughters for substantial amounts of time. I would likely end up moving out. I would be paying support. I wouldn't be with my wife, who despite everything we have been through I generally get along with and like. The only benefit is I suppose I could find someone else who would presumably be a better wife. But even that isn't a sure thing. I also want him to see my heartfelt and sincere explanation of why this happened. I've been in counseling for 2 hours today, and it really made me own up to the hurt I experienced by the lack of physical encounters with my husband, and I feel like I was into the attention I was getting elsewhere, instead of talking to my husband about my insecurity about our physical life. I allowed it to manifest itself into this horrible situation. I was so scared to hurt him with the initial conversation. If I would have just talked to him, it would have been a day or two of discomfort, not a lifetime. I know I really made a bad decision. Let's just hope I can explain to him why I felt like I did, and we can move forward. I know you all hate me and think I am a terrible person. You are more than welcome. But as a whole, I'm a genuine, caring, fun-loving woman who made a bad choice. I am truly remorseful, and I will do anything I can to salvage my relationship. By the way, before everyone gets all over me, I don't think 2 hours of counseling solved anything. I'm just saying that being able to open up in a safe environment and get my thoughts in order helped me to pinpoint the reasons for my choices. I do not blame my husband for anything. I was the one who didn't bring up my fears and my upset and instead chose to get attention elsewhere. I just wanted to clarify that. My parents live about 30 minutes away from us. They offered to have me come and stay with them while my husband and I sort this out. Do you all think I should go and give my husband a few days alone? Or do you think I should stay at the house? Our current situation is that he is staying in the guest room, no TV, no computer, and won't come out when I am at home. I feel horrible that I am the one who has the run of the house and I'm the one who acted poorly. I'd just like him to be comfortable and able to veg out a little. The other day, I told him I'd go somewhere else so he could watch TV, but he wasn't interested. What should I do? I've made him lunch the last few days to take to work and he's left it at home. On purpose. He is literally not even looking at me. How do I get him to eat if he is just holed up in the guest room? I know he's being stubborn and won't eat anything I make right now. I have written him a letter and told him about the counseling as well as suggested we go together. I also told him how sorry I am, how much I love him, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to resolve this. I already have a calendar set up that he can access at any time. As for the software, I am researching it as we speak. He's already told me, when he was yelling the other night and I was offering for him to have access to whatever he wants, that he doesn't want to live a life where he is constantly checking my emails and texts, but just knowing he will most likely make him feel better. I have changed my email will and figure out what to do with my cell number as it's a work account. I'm also going to block the on everything in front of him. I will offer the letter. I am not attempting to downplay what I did. I messed up royally and I get that. I love my husband. I did wrong and I want to make it better and fix things. I hate myself for what I did and I hated myself when I did it. Trust me, I have an ulcer from stress. I've lost 10 pounds from it as well and I've been going crazy. So, here's the update. When I got home tonight, he was already here and he was in the guest room. I knocked on the door and asked if I could ask him a question. He opened the door and allowed me in. I asked him if he was hungry and told him there was food in the fridge I had made for him earlier. Then I asked if he wanted to come out and watch TV in the family room. I'd go in the living room if he didn't want to see me. It turned into a serious conversation. He asked me why and I told him I had felt neglected and rejected in our physical relationship, and instead of coming to him and talking to him about it, I backed out and found attention elsewhere. He considered this for a minute and told me he understood that. Then he called me a hypocrite, told me I had dragged our name through the mud and disrespected not only him but our families. He ended telling me that if I asked him to choose what was going to happen today, he'd either kick me out or move back home with his family. But he did say that he wasn't willing to make that decision yet. I guess the communication is a good start. I asked him if he wanted his space again and he said yes, so I came out to the family room and he's in the guest room still, watching TV now. He fixed it. I'm hoping that we can continue to communicate and see where it goes. And I'm hoping there is a third option when it comes to our situation, that we actually work it out. Based on his current reactions, I feel more like a burden being in the house, but I know he's just hurting and eventually he'll make his decision. When we spoke last night, he asked me why I am sleeping on the couch instead of in the bedroom. I told him I wouldn't sleep in our bed until he was sleeping there with me. I guess I'm trying to show him that although he has relegated himself to the guest room, I'm punishing myself by sleeping on the couch where I should be. Today is the third morning he hasn't taken his lunch, but I'll keep trying. I left him a letter yesterday in the room where he is sleeping and I'll leave another today. I also like the suggestion of leaving some fruit or a snack, so I'm going to the store to get some of his favorite snacks and I'll leave them on the nightstand. Although it was a tough conversation, I'm glad that at least we are communicating. The look in his eyes went from so hurt to almost dead. He was super upset about the answers to his questions. Where, when, how, why, but I was totally honest with him. Hardest conversation I've ever had. I told him I love him more than life, that I am willing to do whatever it takes. I offered the passwords, the spyware on my phone, for him to travel with me, and he told me he doesn't want to live like that, where he is constantly looking at my email or my texts or hindering me doing my job. I told him that I had told my parents and he asked their reaction. I said that they are confident that based on how much we love each other, we can make it through this. True conversation. Our best friends, the couple we do everything with, also know, and they said the same things. It seems like everyone who knows us who know the situation have the same opinion. The sad part is, we really were that couple that everyone strives to be. On the outside, it seemed like we were perfection. And if I wouldn't have been so scared and would have opened up to him about how I was feeling instead of letting it manifest itself into this, we'd still be that perfect couple. He told me last night that he has not told his family. I'm taking this as a good sign. They have never been my biggest fans, so I know if they knew this, and with as much influence as they have on him, they would have told him to get himself on a plane and divorce me yesterday. But these small signs, yesterday's text, the fact that he spoke to me, the fact that he hasn't told his family he's still wearing his wedding ring, seem like small victories to me. Maybe I'm reading into it because I want to, but I'm looking for the smallest signs. His dad passed away in October and he told me that he's positive he would have told my husband, don't take from anyone, not even your wife, and to get out now. I said to my husband, but we love each other more than to let this destroy us. He nodded, so that's a good sign too. He left this morning without a word again. I'm just trying to talk when he wants to and leaving him alone when he's not ready. In our almost 4 years together, I have never seen him this upset, angry, mad. Even when his father passed away, he still hasn't really dealt with that. He's been a rock for his mom for the last 6 months and hasn't really grieved, at least outwardly. So I'm sure that the combination of holding on to that and this being exposed has made it even that much more unbearable. It's also what makes this so much more delicate, since I haven't seen him like this ever. I am not sure how to adequately deal with it. What does he want? What doesn't he want? Do I approach him or let him approach me? Am I even sure he has the capacity to forgive me? These are all thoughts I have rolling around in my head. I know time will make it better, and I know that the fact that he's communicating a little is a good sign. My fears are that we'll work it out for now, and months from now, he'll still not have forgiven me. I suppose this is all part of being the one who was responsible for the betrayal. I've got issues getting pregnant. We've both been tested and I'm the one with the problems. The only issue is that our physical life was focused around going through all of these tests and schedules, and somewhere along the line, we lost interest in the fun part. The other guy literally had nothing to do with pregnancy. And again, this wasn't a physical affair, so that wasn't even an option. If I am misunderstanding your point, I apologize, and please explain so it makes sense to me. By the way, I didn't go into much detail about the actual discovery. Basically, we were in a separate car than our friends and we all stopped at a pharmacy so I could get a band-aid for my foot. I left my phone in the car because my husband was playing music on it. He came barreling into the pharmacy telling me to take him home and proceeded to ask me who other man was and to tell him what he just saw on my text. They were also in the parking lot and we were around the corner from their house, so he told me to take him to their place so he could get out of my company. The friends have extended their support to both of us. They've both told both of us that they think our love will overcome. It was definitely tough to tell my parents as well. They are disappointed but supportive. Maybe our bedroom life had a problem. We have been together 3 years and married for 1, or just a little over. We are in our mid-30s. I can honestly say that we are physically compatible, but the frequency with which we actually engage in bonding is negligible. We've literally had slept together 4 times in 2022. That is, since the beginning of the year. He doesn't have a physical problem. I'm just afraid I'm more in the friend zone with him. It has made me feel undesirable. We have gotten into a routine of come home from work, I make dinner and he watch TV. We eat, he cleans up, we watch our shows for the night and then go to bed. We tend to cuddle most nights, but that's about where it ends. And I've tried lingerie, cute underwear, whatever, and sometimes it works, but a majority of the time, it's just like I'm tired. Not to be a jerk, but I'm pretty cute. I work out to keep my figure in shape and I'm not afraid to try new things in the bedroom. He tells me all of the time how beautiful, pretty, cute he thinks I am, but there's not a lot of acting on it. We've had several occasions where the bonding has been exciting and amazing. I want him to want me, and I guess right now, I don't feel like he really does. I did tell him that was the why I was looking for attention elsewhere. I was very careful how I said it and told him I don't blame him. I blame myself for not talking to him more openly about it. I used to try to seduce him a lot. I have more or less given up in the last 6 to 8 months because the rejection was really starting to take its toll. And occasionally, he'll make a joke about how we haven't had slept together in 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. That's not a joke to me. I know those should have been my openings to talk, but I didn't take them. That's where I got off the track, and now it's led to this. Comments. Does the opus really love her husband? That is the million-dollar question. I find it hard to believe that she does, considering she was cheating on him while they were essentially newlyweds. Maybe it's my personal bias talking, but she can say all she wants that she loves him, but you have to judge her by her actions. And of course, you can be happy without children, but the opus mentioned they wanted children and her infertility was an issue. Story 2. A few weeks ago, I learned my H cheated on me. The O then told him she was pregnant. First, she said she wasn't going to keep it. My H came to me and said he will do anything to fix this with me, and told the O he wants nothing to do with her or the baby. Now she said she's keeping it. We don't know if she's telling the truth or if it's even his. She's married too. We both feel like she is saying these things to try and keep my H in her life. There is a lot my H and I have to figure out. I know I want to try to work things out, but I don't think I can if there is a child involved. The child obviously is not to blame, however. I know I am not ready for children and don't know how I can bring myself to raise someone else's. I know I love him and we have discussed counseling, but I know there are so many things to consider. I would not adopt this child. It's just coming to terms with the situation, and if I feel I can handle it, then be part of it. He has already told the O he wants a paternity test and has talked things through with his dad about how to word documents involving custody pending the test. He also asked her to have the doctor send proof that she really is pregnant and how far along she really is. I know I need to be prepared if this is true, can't wish it away. But I'm still hoping in the back of my mind that she is just that awful of a person and playing a nasty trick. I know, a long shot and probably kidding myself. There's a lot I still need to sort out for myself. Heart is racing right now. H just texted me that the O saw the doctor and as results, he told her she need to have them send her proof that she truly is pregnant. I still don't believe it's his, and I think she's feeding him lines just to convince him. She told him it was a boy, but according to her she just found out she was a few weeks along. How you can even know the gender yet? Now she's arguing with him that she wants to fax the results. Why? Sorry, more venting than anything. I am not a mother and don't have many friends who are yet. But I'm not dumb, and some of the things she is saying do not fit. I feel like she is just stringing him along to try and keep him in her life, even though he has told her whether or not this child is his, she will never mean anything to him. I am so tempted to find the O's H info and let him know what is going on. What led to my H and this O talking was she was reaching out to people saying her H is abusive. I have no idea if this is true, and she told my H she was serving him divorce papers. Again, no idea if this is true. But if it is, I could not live with myself if he did do something to her or her other children. I know I have a problem worrying about others before myself, just another thing I don't know what to do about. The marriage comes first. It's just very hard not to think about the future if there is a baby, and I agree with who said the O is probably just trying to use him for money. She was banking on me leaving. I don't think she expected him to tell her he wants to work it out with me and there's no chance for them. How do I go about telling her H? I know it'll come back and bite me in the you-know-what. I confronted her once and said just because you are in a bad marriage that doesn't give you the right to ruin someone else's. Then she went right to my H telling him I was saying all these mean things. Thankfully he believed me over her. I am not trying to excuse anything my H did. He is still very wrong for his actions. I also know there is still a chance I will be wrong and she really is having this baby. As I continue to go over things in my head now that things have cleared a little and I am not in the immediate shock stage, I am starting to sort things out and realize more and more how it just doesn't make sense. Shortly after my H came home from work, he said he wanted to let me know he did not hear anything from her today and has no intention of contacting her. It will take a long time to regain my trust in him, and me truly hope he means this. I'm still having a very hard time with things, and this whole baby thing is stressing me out. Leo called my H today, of course, and said she is having another ultrasound next week because they can't find the baby's heartbeat. Wait, I thought she recorded it and played it for him. And she said she's starting to show and can feel the baby moving. Based on the only time she was in town recently when the one-night stand happened, she would be about 8 weeks. You can't feel anything that soon, right? Still do not believe that this baby is his, or that he is even pregnant. But on another note, he is still talking to her even after I have asked several times for him to stop. He says he wants to keep contact until he knows for sure, because if he burns a bridge with her, she won't keep him in the loop. What's wrong with that? I thought our marriage was supposed to be top priority right now. Then I find out he sent her FB message last night and another girl he had deleted requested him to be a friend again and he accepted. His new and better behavior only lasted a short time. I don't feel like he's trying at all anymore. Just doing enough so that I won't fight with him about things. After some argument he did delete her from his FB and has agreed to stop contact with her. Leo got upset yesterday when she realized he deleted her and kept texting him. 1. She must be stalking his FB profile, or how else would she know he deleted her? And 2. Why is she holding on so hard? My H told her to leave him alone and then ended the conversation by asking where the doctor proof was that she said she sent over a week ago. She wouldn't respond. He is more worried about her feelings than mine. I am going to give him one final chance to delete her completely and change our numbers. It may take me a day or two, but I will also find the courage to track her H down and fill him in. I guess this will be a true test if he really wants to work things out with me based on how he reacts. It's been a few days since I've been on, but my H to no contact with the O. When we got home from work tonight, he showed me that she was texting him again. We have not changed our numbers yet. She basically admitted she expected him to be with her. He told her that she will never be part of his life. Even if the baby is his, she will just be that other woman to him. He also said he won't believe anything she says until he has doctor's proof, and that he thought it was pretty interesting that she won't say how far along she is. He said to leave him alone and he won't believe it without proof. She brought up the ultrasound pic she sent and he asked why she cut off the info showing how far along she is. That was the end. She hasn't responded since. My H was still pretty heated when he got home, and for the first time, I heard him really badmouth her. I know he's struggling with this just as I am, and I think he's doubting her now too. I know he responded back to her, but I also thought it was a small step that he showed me the conversation. A month later, I think I have decided to go through with the divorce. I love him and probably always will. I miss him many days, but even though there were so many good times, they just can't outweigh the bad. How do you know when it's really over? How do you make your heart stop hurting and move on with your life? It will take time, I know, but it's so hard. I know I need to do what's best for me, but it's hard to just forget the last 11 years. I really miss him. Some days I'm angry, some days I'm happy and don't even think about him. Just a roller coaster of emotions. I've been very busy, took on some extra responsibility at work and will be coaching too. We talk a little. He said the other night that he will be going to court too and is giving her full custody. I told him not to do it, I know it's known what he wants. He's just doing it because he thinks that's what I want. I said, take me out of the equation. Do what is best for you. Don't expect us to get back together. I am having a hard time with all of this and don't think I can move past what happened. He broke down crying again and I finally hung up. He kept pushing, calling multiple times. I answered finally and said he needed to leave me alone. I go back and forth every day. This is so hard. Some weeks later, I told my H that it's over. No more waiting around for him to change. It's over. Taking it day by day and feeling good about my decision. On another note, I have become friends with a guy over the last several months. Nothing ever crossed my mind beyond a new friendship until the last few days. I am not looking for a relationship by any means, but there has been some flirting. Is this too soon? Am I just reacting to the fact that my marriage is over for good? The attention is nice, but how much is too much? Half a year later, it has been several months since I have been on and just want to do a short update. My H and I signed the divorce papers. On Valentine's Day of all days, they have been filed. Now it's just waiting for it to be final. Although I have moved forward and am happy with my decision, there are still triggers and things that get to me, and I know that will continue to happen. We were together 12 years. It won't go away overnight. My comment, a fast and sweet divorce, just like some of you hope to see. Sometimes I try to provide stories that come from the wife's perspective, so you guys can the other side of the story. Let me know what you think of these two. Let me eat and finish the second video, and I will see you there.